Good afternoon, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. God bless each and every one of you. Let's just jump right in, folks. There's plenty of things to talk about. I'm going to be looking at the FBI raid on President Trump. And here's what we've got. We've got a new deep state leak as they're trying to change the narrative. We have the latest breaking news from President Trump in combating and his latest filing in fighting back against this Stasi, Gestapo, tyranny of the FBI and Biden's Department of Injustice. Then we're going to get into the bombshell report from one of Trump's, I wouldn't say sever gets, but definitely one of the people that we're going to be getting the truth from, as told to us by his advisors. We're going to show you from this bombshell information how the FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago, by the treasonous, traitorous bad actors in the Department of Justice and FBI started in the Biden White House, and what actions from the White House lead to that raid. And then we're going to end with one of the central pieces that the deep state is using to go against President Trump. And we're going to put it in perspective and how a legal expert breaks it down. That is where we're going, folks. Let's look first at the New York Times article. Okay, this New York Times article is from yesterday, and this is where we have the deep state selectively leaking and also putting in some fake news, as they always did, and always do. The New York Times: Trump had more than 300 classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. The National Archives found more than 150 sensitive documents. When I got a first batch of materials from the former president in January, helping to explain the Justice Department's urgent response, so urgent that they got a warrant, but didn't execute it for 3 days. You'll notice that here on this New York Times article, we've got people who are in front of Mar-a-Lago. How ridiculous is this? 12,345 people in front of Mar-a-Lago? They look like lefty nuts. Compare that to the hundreds of people that come out anytime President Trump is anywhere near them, with Trump flags, American flags, and MAGA hats. Folks, we are not alone. Most people are disgusted by the FBI actions and support President Trump, and realize that this is a political operation by the current regime against President Trump to stop him. And 2024, this is absolute banana republic. Just made up a word, I guess. And third world tyrant tactics we are seeing by the America of old. We have hit a new low under the installed puppet of the globalist, the establishment. The international bankers and CCP installed puppet Joseph Robinette Jr. Also, you'll notice and I guess in their times probably been doing this for a while. They made sure that this article is available in Chinese, not Spanish, not German or French, Chinese. The initial batch of documents retrieved by the National Archives from Donald Trump in January, including more than 150 marked as classified, a number that ignited intense concerns of the Justice Department and helped trigger the criminal investigation that led FBI agents to swoop into Mar-a-Lago this month seeking to recover more. Multiple people briefed on the matter said once again, these are the deep state FBI treasonous traitors, rat bastards, trying to frame President Trump so that we the people can't get our preferred leader in 2024. Perhaps this is not the first time they've done this. In total, the government has recovered more than 300 documents with classified markings for Mr. Trump since he left the office. That people said the first batch of documents returned in January, another was set by Mr. Trump's aides of the Justice Department in June, and the material seized by the FBI in the search this month. Now we know about June and January. The number of these documents is supposed to be the bombshell thing. Once again, let me remind you that the president is the ultimate authority on what is classified and declassified, and at any moment he can declassify it. As a matter of fact, Obama and Bush both signed executive orders. To this respect, Obama specifically signing an executive order, saying that anything that shows the malfeasance of the United States of American government and its agencies can't be hidden by classifying it, and after proper redactions must be declassified for transparency to the American people. And we know now from Steve Bannon at the War Room, a former advisor, President Trump, and Boris Epshteyn, a former advisor of President Trump and President Trump's own Truthing Out on Truth Social, that the documents that the treasonous traitor as bad actors at the FBI were looking for how to do with Russiagate. And as I've covered here previously, probably things that indicate to us that in fact, maybe Peter Strzok never was FBI, but was always CIA, acting under the cover of FBI. A reminder if you missed it, there's no proof that Peter Strzok ever graduated from Quantico, ever went to FBI, never went to the academy or anything, was ever actually assigned to a field office. He has signed documents as section chief, which would be a CIA designation and title. And lots of documents that he actually worked for. Brennan originally thought that perhaps he was wearing two hats. But now it looks like Peter Strzok is being outed, has been outed, as a CIA operative. CIA is not supposed to operate within the United States. So he did it under the cover of FBI. Probably that and other information. A lot more information was within the Russiagate documents that President Trump had that he declassified and was able to have. The New York Times goes on to say the previously unreported volume of the sensitive material found in the former president's possession in January helps explain why the Justice Department moves so urgently to hunt down any further classified material he may have. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's debunk this. President Trump said very clearly to John Solomon, one of the people and one of the outlets, John Solomon of Justin News. John Solomon is one of my hero reporters. He was at the Hill, he was doing great work. He was planning so many truth bombs, they had to let them go. But that's been a blessing for us. And now he's really breaking a lot of things, a lot of news stories, getting a lot of exclusives without having to worry about the censorship and the partisanship and the bias of the Hill. This is what President Trump's in a letter statement sent to John Solomon of Justin News. He had a standing order that documents removed from the Oval Office and taken into the residence were deemed to be declassified. The power to classify and declassify documents rests solely with the President of the United States. The idea that some paper-pushing bureaucrat with classification authority delegated by the President needs to approve of declassification is absurd. Right. Once again, we know that President Trump, why he wanted a whole bunch of documents having to do with Russiagate, declassified. They have not been declassified. Because this is essentially this happened, he was president, this is insubordination, and now insubordinates are trying to go after the former boss for their insubordination. This is, and I've used this example in the recent past. Alright. Let's get into the actions of President Trump. Late yesterday, President Trump filed a motion in Florida. Quote, regarding the unnecessary, unwarranted and un-American break-in by dozens of FBI agents and others. This is what we have here. This is the President's statement from yesterday, late evening. We have just filed a motion in the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Florida strongly asserting my rights, including under the Fourth Amendment of our Constitution, that has to do with unwarranted search and seizure regarding the unnecessary, unwarranted and un-American breaking by dozens of FBI agents and others of my home Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. I don't know if this what he means by others. I am putting in there, I'm inserting my editorial op-ed comment and analysis that he may be referring to. I don't know. Maybe they were CIA or other intelligence community agents. Maybe there was. I know. There was lawyers, so it could be FBI agents, and there were lawyers in there. But he could have said, lawyers. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. But maybe we'll find out pretty soon that when President Trump said others and may be more expensive than we currently know. They demanded that the security cameras be turned off, a request we rightfully denied. They prevented my attorneys from observing what was being taken in the raising, absolutely not. They took documents covered by client, attorney or attorney-client and executive privilege, which is not allowed. Remember this, folks, they took documents covered by attorney-client privilege and executive privilege, which is not allowed. This is going to be key. When we get into the bombshell of the FBI raid, originated in the White House. They took my passports, they even brought a safecracker, and successfully broken in my personal safe, which revealed nothing. We are now demanding the Department of Justice be instructed to immediately stop the review of documents illegally seized from my home. All documents have been previously declassified. We are demanding the appointment of a special master to oversee the handling of the materials taken in the raid. We are further demanding that the DOJ be forced to turn over a real without plants inventory of my property that was taken and disclose where that property is now located. We are demanding that all items wrongfully taken from my home be immediately returned. The wrongful overbroad warrant was signed by a magistrate judge who recused himself just 2 months ago from a major civil suit that I filed because of his bias and animus towards me. This Mar-a-Lago break-in, search and seizure was illegal and unconstitutional. And we are taking all actions necessary to get the documents back which we would have given to them without the necessity of the despicable raid of my home. So I can get them to the National Archives until They're required for the future Donald J. Trump Presidential Library and Museum. I will never stop fighting America for the American people. Our country and the rule of law. Make America great again. Quite a bit of a mouthful there. I know because I just gave you a mouthful. But here we go. Let's break down the important parts of this. Okay. They demanded the security cameras be turned off, a request we rightfully denied. We know that the Trump family has CCTV footage and recordings of what took place that day. And Eric Trump has told us that when the time is right, those will be released. So perhaps we'll get some insight into the FBI agents and others and their malfeasance and what they were up to. They prevented their President Trump's attorneys from observing what was being taken. And you'll see that in this he says we are further demanding that the DOJ be forced to turn it over a reel without plants inventory of my property. So President Trump is suggesting, or he is accusing, or he is questioning the motives behind the FBI, that perhaps they were putting plants or planting evidence or false documents among those. Now here is the most important thing that debunks everything that's left: the Marxists, the FBI, the DOJ, Biden, Merrick Garland, Christopher Wray. As we all have been saying, President Trump is demanding the appointment of a special master to oversee the handling of the materials taken in the raid. President Trump is cooperating, said he would have cooperated in getting those documents in them how they just asked. There was no need to raid. It was according the New York Times, such an urgent matter, that they raided him in August. But they started from what they got in January, and he handed Doc into them in June. And he locked up the documents that were still at Mar-a-Lago per the instructions that they gave him in June. Yeah, he really was trying to hide classified information from them. It was a Russiagate information that they were after. And President Trump has nothing to hide. He wants a special master to oversee the handling of the materials. He is cooperating. And he's not trying to hide anything. Those are not the actions of someone tried to hide. Now, let's get into what we are getting from John Solomon. At Just the News, absolute proof that the FBI raid, folks. This bombshell by the Department of Justice originated with action by Biden in the White House. So we know that he lied to everyone. They had no idea what was going on. We know the White House has said that they had no part in this. They found out when the raid happened in news just like everyone else did. That is some bombshell stuff. We're gonna get into it. Thanks for being here, folks. Big hug. Ciao. Goodbye. God bless.